Oh, great. Perfect timing. That's when I get right in the middle of stuff in my face. So, let's get it started. Tonight I want to talk about something kind of important, and that is finding your way. That is figuring out where you're supposed to be in life. It's one of the weird things about all of this whole idea of existence, this 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 idea of life on this planet, where we pay someone else to live on the planet that we were born on. What an interesting concept, right? Somebody sold us a bill of good, and we bought it. We have a timeout option now on people that make negative comments. I can put them in timeout. That's awesome. People need to learn where they need to be. There's some things in the Have 'em All that kind of talk about men and their kind of journey in life. It says, "Happy the man who has while he lives wisdom and praise as well. For evil counsel a man full oft has from another's heart." Something very special about that. And I wrote about it a little bit today in my daily email, which if you haven't subscribed to it, you really should. Every morning I get up and come up with something new, something wonderful, and something amazing. And if you're a member of my Patreon, you get it for free every day, as well as if you're part of the Go program, you get a weekly call, a 1 hour discussion on whatever events, ideas, topics that happen to be happening within that program or Austria overall. Going good, bud. It's good to see you. The one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is how a man's supposed to find his way in the world. How he's supposed to figure out what the fuck he's supposed to be doing. Hi, babe. There's all kinds of ideas about that. How a man's supposed to know what he's supposed to be doing. We use society's measure of it. He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of things. He's well positioned in life. He's by what they determine to be successful. But let's say you're trying to follow a dream. There's something that you really want to be, and you can't quite measure up to that standard. That's not in the cards for you. Certain people with disabilities, there are certain things they cannot do in life. Such is not their path. Such is not their future. That's not a road they can travel. Some people have hindrances within their personality that cripple them with regards to building effective relationships. Some people just get lost and give up. When we follow the pattern of life, when we follow what the world says we need to be doing, right? And it is a pattern, and it's a formula, and there's lots of them that we can choose to pick from, and all of them, if we do them right, guarantee our a certain amount of success, right? If I work hard enough, I'll be successful. If I train hard enough, I'll be successful. If I learn this body of knowledge, I'll be considered successful. All of these things seem to be hallmarks of someone else's determination of your success, of you as a person. It is the validation of someone else's opinion that they hold for you, right? And there's a warning about that in the Have 'em All, the Over 'em All, right? It says, "Happy the man who has while he lives wisdom and praise as well. For evil counsel a man full oft has from another's heart." And the previous one says, "Less safe by far is the wisdom found in another's heart. The knowing guest who goes to the feast in silent attention sits. With his ears he hears, with his eyes he watches. Thus way all are wise men all. And a man shall not boast of his keenness of mind, but keep it close in his breast. To the silent and wise does ill seldom come. For when he goes as a guest to a house, where a faster friend one never finds than wisdom tried and true." There's a set of stanzas in there talking about how a man needs to kind of keep his mouth shut and his eyes open, right? His eyes and ears open and pay attention to what's going on around him. I can talk all day long about a number of things. This is one of the things I can talk about where very few people can hang, right? There's a lot of often imitated but never duplicated, that kind of bullshit. Because I've been doing it for a long time. It's something that is rewarding for me personally. Now, I don't make a bunch of money at it, right? So would someone else looking at that say, oh, he's not very successful? By whose standard? I enjoy a great deal of satisfaction and encouragement appeasing what goes on in here by helping others achieve what they want to achieve. Right? I've never put really a big price tag on that. I've never set it up as as something that's not. Perhaps someday it is who I will be. Right now, it's not. Right now, it is a creative outlet that I derive an enormous amount of satisfaction from. So, in the determination of success, when I look at it, I feel good about it. I feel successful about it. I've made a determination to satisfy me, not anybody else. I'm not out here performing the dancing bear to measure up to what someone else believes is a standard of success. Chances are they're probably wrong. Chances are they can't do it. Chances are their mindset is focused on something else. Engineers are a good example of it. Engineers are exceptionally talented. They can do the most with the least. Right? Their mind thinks in such a way that they can accomplish the task at hand. They can build, they can create, they can design, they can put it together, they can make it work, they can change and revolutionize the world with the idea. But they don't necessarily always make the best leaders of men. Are we to call them a failure because they can't lead men? Well, obviously, they have enough discipline in their own life to lead themselves to a resounding sort of success in their own mind. I wonder if we shouldn't take more of an approach to that when we look at these things. When I look at, okay, what am I going to call success for me? Is it going to be a mid six figure salary? All right, I've made it, and fucked it up royally, right? But I made it. Should I let someone else say that he had it, but now he's a has been? Why would I ever want to put the quality of who I am in such a predicament by allowing the wisdom in another's heart to tell me what my worth is? And recently, it was really driven home to me. You see it a lot after breakups. Everyone's crushed. And I wrote about it this morning in the daily email. It's that wonderful opportunity to become something better to satisfy who we are. And yet, everything that seems to happen after a breakup is, I got to change this about myself because that she might like me more or he might find me more attractive if I do that. For somebody that's already gone, somebody that's already gone on down the road, still trying to live up to a standard that it probably doesn't exist anymore. Instead of trying to live up to a standard that satisfies me, so I can live life for me, because we're the only ones that are going to do this. My son lost a fight recently, and losing a fight is a hard thing. I really don't think he should have lost it, but the judges made the decision for the local boy, the hometown hero, and Jeff lost the fight. And it's hard when you lose a fight. It's very hard. And I was a little bit distressed by it. And when it's that close to you, it's very hard to think about it. So I called, one of the individuals I consider to be a valuable, very valuable ally and someone I've known for a long time and have worked with, and can't say enough good things about the guy, right? I call MC and I'm like, hey, I'm kind of at a loss here. Right. Yeah. And he said something that I won't ever forget. And it's something that I already knew, but since Jeff was close to me, I was having a hard time applying it. He said, if your son is using the win or lose aspect of that fight to determine the quality of he is, he needs to question why he's in the game. We need to do the same thing. If we're going to determine the quality of who we are by whether or not someone else makes the decision of whether we're winning or losing at the game of life, we need to question how we're playing the game of life. We need to question why that person over there his opinion is more valuable than my opinion in finding the occupation, the trade, or the skill that I find the greatest satisfaction in. That's a real ticket there. Sigurd, when he's reshaping his father's sword, he's got. Mm, anyway, he's got what's his name as his mentor. That pisses me off. I hate that. Since I've had COVID, I can't remember a damn thing. Reagan. He's got Reagan as his mentor, right? So Reagan is telling him this story. He's conditioning this young man to believe that the battles that he needs to fight, because he's training him and coaching him and showing him the way in life, well, these battles that he needs to fight that he can't should also be his battles. One of the most important things we can do when we become a man is make the decision to do something on our own, outside of the scope of my mother and father love me because I exist. I'm going to do something, make a decision that puts me squarely outside that dynamic and go and do it and make it happen. Make it happen. So when Sigurd reshapes the sword and Reagan is like, all right, we need to go kill Fafnir. He's like, no, 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 no. What kind of fool do you think I would look like if I didn't go avenge my father's death? And he goes and he handles business. He takes care of what he needs to take care of first, right? Then he will sign on to someone else's mission. And it changes everything, changes the future and the history, and he becomes afflicted by the curse and it eats his lunch. That's an important part of the story. All of the great and good things that we all see that he follows. He slays the dragon. He learns the language of the birds. He finds what probably should have been his partner for eternity, and he screws it all up because of a curse on that gold. Because he was doing something that someone else said was important. See, we can go through life and enjoy an enormous amount of what other people call successful. Is that really where your heart lies? Is that really where you feel the most energized, the most alive? I have a wonderful array of ironwood candles and gifts here. You can find her shop on Etsy. I'll tell you this, when I see that woman creating and making those and going through the smells and the scents and the oils and making these candles and putting herself into these candles to share with the world, she is most alive. Her vibration changes. The very pattern of who she is softens around the edges, and there's excitement, and there's the very vitality of life itself begins to show in her eyes. Not that it's not always there. Things begin to click. Fortunate things happen on her own path that she just kind of stumbled into. This creative outlet that allows her to express who she is. And as I've said before, one of the greatest challenges a man has with his partner is to create an environment where a woman is free to express the beauty of who she is. Look how that's shaping up now. This is a rewarding opportunity for everyone involved to go be and see and do. Who knows? It could turn into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. There's no reason it can't be a six-figure income in very short order, and I fully think that it will be. It won't take long. Take a little bit of marketing, a little bit of advertising, a solid business plan, some financial things and taking a look at the numbers, and within short orders, ironwood will be the candle to have, period. Because it's something she enjoys doing. Or it might not. I have a daughter in there. She's a little bit retarded. Brain damage, anyway. Um, she's in there doing what she loves. She's in there playing music. Who knows where that's going to go? But her ability to develop that skill is not being determined by thank you, by what else someone else thinks. She is supported and encouraged. She's talented. She's creating. She's living in a life she wants to live in right now. Now, the real trick comes when she becomes an adult. Is she going to go to college on music? Is she going to play in an orchestra? Is she going to play in a heavy metal band? Is she going to dye her hair into a blue mohawk, put on black leather, and get on stage and raise hell? Hell, I don't care. I don't know. I don't. Not really excited about it, but whatever. Right? I'll be an old man by then, and I'll do what I can to stay stoned on painkillers and ignore it all. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful. God damn. The point I'm trying to make is you at some point in life there's going to come a crossroads where you have to make a decision. And it usually shapes up with roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, the way just getting harder and harder and harder. And we continue to doggedly move forward. We continue to keep on trying. And it just eats our lunch. Because it's not easy to run a business. It's not easy trying to measure up to everybody else's level of what they think is successful. And a lot of what they think is successful is whether or not, can I get $100? How about you help me out with this? Why don't you make an investment in this so we'll split the money. We'll be great. We'll do a bunch of money together. Can you you're a doctor. How about some free medical advice? Oh, you work with computers? How about some free computer advice? Can you get me a computer cheap? All of those things. Now, when you don't do that, because when I look at the wealthy people in the world that are wealthy, they don't get that. They don't get that by giving it away. Period. Now they'll make donations, but that's all a tax write-off, and there's all the whole tax go behind it. But at some point, you got to figure out how to do what you love, or you can doggedly pursue the corporate track of however you think life's supposed to do. You're supposed to be an engineer, or you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to work in a factory until you retire and wait to die. You're just supposed to keep plugging away until you save up enough money to break away and finally do that thing that you love. God damn, that seems like that might suck. People do it though. And then they find when they do finally do it, the first thing they'll say is, I should have done this years ago. I should have done this a long time ago. I have wasted decades of life not living up to what gift I was given as I was put on this planet. By squandering the talent and the abilities that people that I was born with so that I could fit the mold that someone else decided I ought to live in. Hell, that is at the very foundation of the entirety of the hippie movement in the 60s. They don't want to be like their fathers. They don't want to be the patriarchal whatever bullshit they come up with. They did want to have fun. They did want to live, and every one of them went out there and got busy and did well. Most of them anyway. You see them all the time on TV or in some college arena or some educator or some legislator or some bullshit. Oh yeah, I was at Woodstock. Not so much anymore because they're retired. But I remember seeing it all the time when I was in high school. Some dickhead that was at Woodstock figured out how to go and do what he loved and went and became enormously successful with it. It was a huge cultural shift, an enormous dynamic that was radically different. If you watch those TV shows from the 50s, there's always some hard-nosed boss pushing their people to perform in this level. And they're always stressed out about some deadline, some marketing thing, some idea. I've got to get this done because work. And they build their lives as the best they could with the same kind of discipline they served in World War II. And they built a great country with it, with that whole idea. And their children took a look at that and are like, no way are you putting this round peg in that square hole. Not going to happen. And they changed the world. Is it for the better or for worse? I don't know. We still have remnants of each poisoning our ideas and our ability to think and feel and love and challenge and grow and do all these things to move forward in the world. It's such a hellish thing to navigate, this whole thing called life. It's ridiculous. You're going to suffer, you're going to hurt, and you're going to have to deal with other motherfuckers you do not like because, well, I got to have a job because I got to have insurance and I got to do this and I got to do that. And the whole time you're designed, built, and very much alive to do one thing in this world: love your partner and provide for them. How you decide to do that's up to you. I would much rather be running cattle. I would much rather have 300 or 400, 500, 600, 1,000 acres of buffalo, right? And be a bison rancher. Perfect time, perfect thing for me. Somewhere out west in the Rocky Mountains, right? That's exactly right. Rawhide. That's exactly right. If you think I wouldn't put them on and get out there and give it hell, you got me. You got me. You got me wrong. I can tell you that right now. I would be on horseback, wearing those chaps with that lasso, giving it hell because I can rope those sons of guns. Now, being able to hold on to them, it's a whole nother story. But yeah, I'd love to have a bison skull and a bison skin teepee and all that nonsense. As I got to get there somehow, don't I? So, can I take what the gifts that I have to make that happen? Sure, I can sell out. I can do all kinds of things. This is going to be a subscription, and I'm going to put advertisements on it, and then I'm going to raise the price on all the Patreon, and then I'm going to write 2 or 3 more books and charge top dollar for them all, and and see what we can do, and then get on stage and have huge auditoriums full of people, which I would love to do because I know I can do it. I have done it and can do it better than just about anybody else when it comes to these kinds of things. I mean, that's just where my gift is. Maybe that's what needs to happen next, huh? So, am I being true to my dream if I do all that? If I'm being true to the gift that I have? What about that guy that can't afford $1,000 ticket to come see me talk? That probably could be the president of the United States of America. But right now, he's sitting there with a broken heart on the side of the street because his old lady left him. What about that kid that flunked out of college because he just couldn't apply himself because he didn't fit that mold, but he's an absolutely brilliant computer engineer or an artist? Yeah. What about that kid over there? What about that woman over there who has got lupus and no one loves her because she's a little overweight and all of her stuff's out of control? Right? Got kids that don't respect her because she's alone. She's a cat lady now. Do those people also not deserve? Yeah, good. I'm glad you're here, man. Do those people also not deserve a portion of the gifts that I have to offer? I feel like they do. Now, I know that has kind of messianic overtones, and I don't want it to appear that way. But you got to find kind of a balance with it. I don't necessarily mean to be comfortable with it, but you got to find a balance with how to make it work and do that thing that you enjoy and live and enjoy your life and face that challenge. And I get up every morning to write a new email every day. I come up with that every single day. I don't sit down and write all of them. I don't take them out of books that I've already written. I don't take them off old. They're things that I come up with new every day. And there's a piece of me in that. And every time I send it out, I'm writing it to someone that I think I have a vision in my mind of someone that might need to hear what I'm writing. And it's not anybody in particular. It's just, I know that there's an individual in this state of being, and I want to address that state of being, and this is what I'm going to put out. And that's where the creative process begins. Now, I might need to hear a phrase. Sometimes it's a phrase. It's simply just a simple phrase. Go do what you love. That might trigger a whole cascade of thoughts that allows me to create something that inspires people to go do what they love. Don't be stupid about it. You still got to make money in the world, right? You still got to pay rent and mortgage and what you still have to pay money to live on the planet on which you're born, right? We got suckered into that somehow and we're stuck with it. So you still got to make money, but you also got to find some place to satisfy what's going on in here. I watched working in a factory kill my dad slowly over the years. Every day, mad about it, red in the face, tirade. That damn place couldn't work if I left there, they'd fall apart. Well, he's been dead a long time now, and that place is still going pretty strong. They will replace you in a heartbeat. There will be another machinist come in, another engineer come in, another salesman come in, another president come in. So we got to make enough money to support our way, but we got to figure out some way in our day to do the thing that makes us feel fucking complete, or something that prepares the way for us to find out how to make that happen. And the formulas are all over the place. What I'm trying to say is you got to go be happy by any way you can. And most of the time, that does not mean letting someone else's determination of who you are make that a reality. Who gives a what other people think of me is really none of my business. Although I will snoop and get mad about it because that's who I am. Bunch of fuckers not qualified to carry my water bucket talking shit. You see what I'm saying? So now I've got a little energy, a little angry to be mad about. Now got some energy to keep on going. That's how that works. Yeah, that's a trick too. I learned it well from my father. But every day I do something that I love. And one of the things is I get up early in the morning, I write that email, I play with a couple of hobbies that I have and make things and just silly things and just things that allow me to express. I don't know. I see something in my head. I got to go make it. I hear something on somewhere and I got to go write something about it. And I follow that instinct because that's what makes me feel whole. That's what makes me feel complete. That's what allows me to calm those storms of the soul that seek to overtake and ask me to live on a high strung diet of anxiety and anger. And caffeine and hate is a pretty good way to move forward. If you're moving slow on Monday, caffeine and hate will get your ass out the door. That's just the reality of it. I can't live there. And it takes about 7 hours for your body to readjust after some kind of temper tantrum over some bullshit because you're not living up to a standard that somebody else considers to be the standard for life. Who gives a fuck what they think? We got to enjoy our life. We're here for a short time, literally a blip in the timeline of history. We can challenge ourselves to be the biggest, best, and greatest ever we want to do, or we can be a benefit to the people around us that we love by finding a balance of, okay, I got to make a little money, but this over here is how I'm going to determine the quality of who I am using my criteria. Not yours, not hers, not theirs. Fuck them. I'm going to go do this because this is what I appreciate. Now, that doesn't mean going out, and by no stretch of the imagination am I talking about any of the other nonsense that people say, oh, well, you just need to be who you are. Shut the fuck up. Right? I want to go out there and find that expressive thing that allows you to be who you are. Right? Is it working with people? Is it building things? Is it making things? Is it painting? Is it sculpture? Is it writing? Is it music? Any of those wonderful expressions of the culture from which we originate are part of all that our ancestors brought forward to share with us because they did what they loved. And if we're sitting here simply working on business, simply working on the task at hand and handling the day's work and sticking with a cookie cutter kind of religion and faith where somebody will take care of it for you. And here's this package, and that's a package of spirituality, and take that and run with it. But in the meantime, go back to work and everything's packaged and partial and it's all convenient. It's all serving size samples and it's keep moving. What fucking culture are we going to create out of that to move forward to our people, to move forward to our children and our grandchildren? Not much. They will be shivering denizens of a tyrant that runs the world and is there only to make money. I, for one, refuse to submit to that. I will make my own fortune in my own way. And in the meantime, I will move through this planet helping as many people as I can possibly reach. I will feel successful about it. I feel successful about it today. I've accomplished a number of things other people never thought I could. Right? That's exactly right. The standard ought to be that our grandchildren should look at it and say, you know what? Grandma was beautiful in her 40s and 50s. She was such a classy woman. Grandpa was a hell of a man in his 60s. Look at the wonderful things they've made. Look at the world we've created. I think much of what all of these alternative spiritualities and thoughts are bringing to the forefront is a very deep dissatisfaction with just the very essence of life itself. We have come to a crossroads in the world and time and history and spiritualities and faiths and found all of them wanting. So now we have a brand new horizon. The only way to enter a grand new horizon like that and not be overwhelmed with the chaos of so much free thought is to follow your heart and do that which you love. And if it makes you a wealthy person, then the gods have truly blessed you. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I feel like I'm pretty good about it. Anybody got any questions? No? Well, I have a half-eaten Pop-Tart here that's been calling my name the whole time I've been talking. And I'm craving sweets tonight for some reason, so I'm going to eat it and get ready for the 8 o'clock Zoom Gothy call. Man, I appreciate it, Jeremy. Regular like clockwork, man. I appreciate you being there all the time. Someday we'll hook up. Someday we'll do something big. Hell, I'll do something big. We'll probably charge $1,000 a ticket. I'll give you box seats, right? be the most expensive show to watch a man make a fool of himself the world's ever seen. It'll be awesome. The marketing will be brilliant, I promise. All right. I appreciate every one of y'all taking the time to pay attention to this. And it's kind of a rambling kind of thing, but it's kind of on my mind lately for some damn reason. So I've got a Christmas tree to finish, a Yule tree to finish picking up. I like using Xmas because X is Gabo, right? That always pisses them off. But yeah, we got Xmas coming up. Gablemas. I don't know if that's not a word. I just kind of made it up, but you get the point. Yep. All right. So those of you that join in at 8 o'clock, I will see you then. The link is posted in the Patreon, and we'll give it hell. All right. I appreciate everybody for joining in. Tomorrow's Monday. You know what to do. Grab it by the nose and whip its ass.